I'm going to be talking about the psychotic aspects of Agwu. Now, whenever we talk about Agwu, we're trying to talk about the creative energy of an individual, an energy that basically helps to increase your creative level, your intellectual capacity. You know, what makes you special, what makes you different from your neighbor. Where people will say, Akaraka ninja abulofu, akaraka diichi, akaraka ndiichi, akaraka gidiichi. Your destiny is different, my destiny is different. So once we have that perception, what then happens? It is Agwu that basically helps to separate you from others. Now, when you align yourself with Agwu makes sure that you basically live up to your full capacity, live up to your full destiny, your full potential, and it helps to bring it out and make it make you be visible to the world and make it be useful to yourself and to your community. Now, when we look at Agwu as this kind of benevolent energy, how can we now basically lump it up to something like psychosis, Agwu? Where does it come from? Why is it that a person moves from, Agwu in some situation for some individuals, move for something that is basically benevolent, something that has been created to basically boost your creativity and your intellectual capacity, to something that is basically making you mentally unstable and mentally drained. So this is what we'll be going through in this video. And if you're new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe. We talk about Igbo spirituality, Igbo cosmology. We try to give explanations to some of these cultural and spiritual practices that is predominant in our society. So take a quick break and basically hit the subscription button for me. So let's continue with the video. So growing up in a traditional Igbo family, it is common to hear our parents question our sanity when we live or behave in a certain way, which is true. When you act in a certain way, your parents will basically, chastise you and will now say, why you behaving this way? You see them making reference to this particular Agwu. So, they make reference to Agwu and use similar terms that they used to make reference to and the absence of a stable mind, which is inabara, araka Agwu. All those kinds of words that are basically surrounding stable mind and your mental capacity. So now, when we now look at these behavioral traits and a parent notices that these behavioral traits are repetitive, then the parents would now, or this basically would now lead the parents to divination, Igba, in order to ascertain the cause of this behavior. The cause could be because of a non-alignment with Agwu. It could be a non-alignment with the Chi, or any cosmic force, or practically the child is just behaving that way because that's how the child is. There are so many interpretations. So once the parents go through the Alpha system, it would help them to decipher where this particular behavioral trait is coming from, and from there they will now know how to basically fix it. So this is the essence why divination is important and why our ancestors basically use divination as a way of checking out or knowing what is going on in their life and in the lives of their children and spouse. Before we go further, I would like us to basically check out these two videos. The first video is a video of a woman that has this Agwu calling, this Agwu spirit, but has decided not to make use of it because of her religious affiliation. Now, it has led her into very embarrassing situations. It literally turned her into a kleptomania, stealing things that she does not need, and at the end of the day causing her that kind of a bodily harm and misery. Now, on the other hand, you could see the video of this young woman that embraced this Agwu spirit and took it home and took it to heart, and you see how through that Agwu institution she's able to manifest things that are really, really extraordinary. She's a herbalist, she's a midwife, and she uses the help of her Agwu to basically achieve all those things. I want you to just check out this video and we'll analyze it after the video. Yeah, guys, yeah.
Akunu chete video amme maka one woman si oka we jori na adazi enu ebe o gara ekpere gasi ekpere na ana we branch ya na be mmadu we ga bukosiri ife dị bonya we bukosiri mi itewu ma toilet paper nya tissue eji akpucha ohu eji eficha ike ma ofu bottle stout nya kpọkọsịcha ngwongwo nwere isi na be mmadụ. Thank you. All video ka m chọrọ ikwu maka kịta na the video enwego part 2. Ndị security ahụ n'ụfọ na-agbụ ya ajụjụ ọnụ dadị mesezi wee kpụrụ ya wee yipụsie ya akwa wee lapụrụ ya sọsọ bra na panti oyi ya tight oyi n'ala wee kụba nwaanyị a ife. Ịghọtago? Mana nwaanyị a ka na-ebe na-akọwa na ya ghọtara ife na-eme ya. Nwaanyị a wee na-asịfa biko na ejirọkwa anyị ya eme n'ọkọọlụ ka ya nwe mana ekwere aza kọọlụ ahụ onwe agbanyesizi ya isi na ajọ ife. Ịghọtago? Na ife niile fa na-eme bụ ka emechuo enyi iru. Ihe ọbụla ha ga-eme ya ka iru ya wee kpọchuo ka wee mechuo enyi iru ka ebutere ya ajọ afa. Na ifefa na-eme ya na o nwere ụdị ifefe emebeli ya ivu na fa emegide gị ya na di enwe nsogbu na ya na di ebirozi na fa chụpụ gị abe di ya n'ofu ndị a kọọlụ ahụ onwe ya jụrụ na ya ama nzanya bụ kọọlụ na kọọlụ a na-akpụgharị ya ifa na ejiri anya si biko si gbaghara ya na ife
nna anyị nwaanyị na-esi ọgwụ Igbo ka anyị bịakwutere n'ụbọchị taa. Ọ bụkwa sọ na ọ na-esi ọgwụ Igbo, ọ na-ana ụmụ nwaanyị dị ime nwa, ọ na-afụ maka ụmụ nwaanyị dị ime. O tego nnụbara akụkọ ya bụ nwata nwaanyị abịakwuzie ụmụnne anyị wee na-eti mkpu n'oke onu na ọgwụ Igbo anyị nara ana. Ndị na-agwọ ndị ọya n'ala Igbo anyị na usoro ndị nne na nna anyị ha n'oge gboo nara ana. Wee sị mba ka njekene ka mara na ya bụ ife ọ bụ eziokwu. Ọ kwana na bịa ka anyị batara n'ụbọchị taa na ebe anyị batara bụ na anọ ọzọ ụbụrụ ka anyị nọ n'ụbọchị taa. Unu n'anya n'azụ unu ga-afụ ka ọ na-akpa nya bụ ọgwụ. Oge na-adịghị anya anyị ga-ejekwugodie ka ọ kọwara anyị ụzọ ọgwụ dị iche iche. Ọ kọwakinile anyị ka ọlụ a si wee bidie, ọ mụrụ ya amụ, ọ mara ya ama ka ọ dị n'agbụrụ ha. Maka ndị ga-ajụ kedu ife bụ ịdụ n'agbụrụ. Ife bụ ịdụ n'agbụrụ o si n'aka nne na nna ya wee luo ya aka, ya bụ n'ọnụ oyibo ọdịnala anyị na-eji ya. Ife a ka anyị chọrọ ịghọtagodu ma nke dị n'akara aka ya ka nke ọ mụtara amụta. Ka anyị jenu ka anyị jụọ ya nya bụ ajụjụ.
So if we analyze this video, we'll see that Agwu has two sides. There are two sides of Agwu, and it's basically seen in this video. The first one shows the individual who has refused to be in an alignment with this Agwu, and as a result, she's basically stealing, taking things that she does not even need. Now, practically, because I would like to explain why this, because to some, they will say that this is certainly not fair. Well, let me explain, because we need to understand these things from our own cosmology, from our own indigenous perspective. And in our cosmology, we believe in shared fate, in shared destiny, in predestination. Whatever that would be has been predestined. And one avenue where this thing manifests is through Iowa. So because we have this shared fate, this interconnectedness means that our fate has been positioned, that fate has positioned us to basically save or heal somebody. Now this woman now, she is an Ezenwine. She's a Divya. Now if she harnesses this ability, this Agwu, what can she use it to do? She could use the information she would derive or get from this Agwu to either, if she's a herbalist, to either prepare drugs for women to drink or for for people to get healthy. So this is the perception. Now this interconnectedness also means that some of us have been fated to be helpers or helpmates to some certain person. I say you could have been fated to be the helper or somebody is going to help another person to attain a certain position in life. As well, it's also said that some people has also been fated to be the nemesis of another people, because you believe no kamadu jafo. It could be in the hands of your husband, in the hands of your children, in the hands of your wife. You understand the word or you see the word through the lens or hands of another person, how they interact with you, how the hand they give you, how they treat you, all those things. That's where that explanation is coming from. Now, because of this shared faith, and because that this woman could have been destined to help another person, and because she has refused to accept her cosmic calling and harness these abilities of her Agwu, it has kept her in that situation. It has kept her in that situation. Therefore, any ill fate that person she's supposed to help or any situation that person is going to be in would trickle down to her, cause her misfortunes, cause her embarrassment, to basically make her to basically revert to her original calling. This is why that kind of thing is happening to this woman, and she's behaving the way that she's behaving. And that is why when we now look to the other woman and how she embraced and she's harnessing her Agwu energy, we could see that it is profiting her, it is helping her, because she is using her gifts to help these women that are not able to basically pay the exorbitant fees that they will pay in the hospitals. So she's serving a need, and she's basically cosmically helping those that she shares her faith, or that she shares the same faith with. So you see the way she's living, and you see the difference between the two. Then there are so many countless explanations. There are so many countless people that have basically experienced what this other woman is experiencing, and has decided to basically accept her calls, and their life became better because they realigned themselves. They realigned themselves with the people that they are supposed to help, people that are cosmically fitted together, and we're now seeing a beautiful outcome in their lives. So this is what happens in this interpretation, and why people suffer these kinds of fates. We mostly explain this psychotic aspect of Agwu from the lens of people not accepting this call and basically aligning themselves with Agwu. But another interpretation here is that Agwu, or is also known as Uchechukwu, the universal mind. Agwu gets information from the universal source and directs it into the mind of his chosen. Onya Agwu mara, you have this ability to see things beyond the normal human, especially the Agwu that you have. It is an Agwu for Dibias or Ezenwani. Don't also forget we have different interpretations of Agwu, different classes of Agwu. Agwu Nka, Agwu Aya, all those ones. Their own Agwu can manifest differently, but when we're making reference to people that have access to the cosmic mind, the Agwu Dibia Mara, these are the people we're making reference to. Now, once their life is manifesting this way, is because that they are getting information directly from Agwu, and without the rights of Igba Agwu, which has been presented to basically curtail these excesses, they are getting the raw information, which could basically mean because they are not trained, those information they are getting, they're not able to harness it, they're not able to assess it properly, and they're not able to understand what is happening. Because once a person has understood that he or she is a Dibia, those information or those things that they see in their dreams, they understand it because they are going through series of rituals and rites that has basically prepared them for that journey. Because once Agwu wakes up, it comes with full force, it comes with everything it's coming with. It pumps that mind with information, and once that mind has not been prepared, or that mind has not basically accepted that reality, it becomes a problem, because the individual will not be able to assess and understand what is happening. And once that happens, this individual will basically lose his or her sanity, because reality will be he will begin to question his or her reality. And when reality begins not to make sense to you, what is happening? There are so many evidence of people who understood this Agwu, but before they understood what's happening, they have claims to have been at the verge of basically, committing themselves into some kind of psychiatric ward. Because of the things they hear, the things they see, they were not able to basically decipher this reality again. But with time, because some people get lucky, and when they understand what is happening, they begin to seek. They begin to look for answers. And if they are lucky, you meet the right people, they begin to understand their reality and understand that they are different from the normal human being. And once those things, they begin to see it that way, from that perspective, it's easier for them to come in terms with their own current reality. But for people that refuse this calling, they refuse to go through the training, they refuse to be initiated into the cult of the dibia, they're basically left stranded and unable to understand the information they are getting from Agwu, which now basically afflicts their mind and makes them to be out of touch with reality. So aside, Agwu basically manifesting this way, it could manifest in a way of basically causing misfortunes. This woman now, she has been accused of stealing, and according to her, it is not a today thing, it has been going on in her life. So many people have had it worse. A woman that I went through her interview said that all her children died because of this, and each time before the child would die, she would see herself in the dream basically performing some kind of traditional rites, healing people, and she would be told, use these items, give them to your child, and your child will be healed. But because of her religious faith, she would refuse not to do it that way, and few days or few months later the child would die. She understood this pattern, which now made her to basically look inwards, and according to her, she lost her sanity before her people began to basically try to help her. She said occasionally it's as if she's no longer in touch with reality because it has advanced to that level. So these are just one aspect of the interpretation of Agwu. I've made an earlier video on Agwu, and I'll continue making videos on Agwu because Agwu is a lot and it is important. Now, as in the Igbo, for us to become technologically advanced, for us to basically move our society from the way it is to a technological advanced and developed society, we all should begin to embrace Agwu, because it is that ability that basically helps us, that makes us creative, that show us things that have not even come, even the white men or their neighbors have not even invented it. Now, in my little space, I have seen the benefit of Agwu. For a herbalist that I know, she has also seen the benefit of Agwu. And there are so many other people who have seen the benefit of Agwu. Now, what if the person who is supposed to be the next Elon Musk, the next Bill Gates, is basically saying, rebuking and refuting his or her Agwu? That means that person will not move into that full capability that he or she has and should harness. Because development, because then when they say that as ancestors have this proverb, I say, the blacksmith that cannot smith a gun should look at the tail of a kite. So it says a lot. If we want to improve ourselves, become technologically advanced, then we should learn to approach and interact with Agwu from this perspective. So I'm going to stop here so this video doesn't get long, and until next time, Yakazia. If you're new, don't also forget to subscribe and share and invite your friends to come and learn from me, and we'll learn together, because learning is constant, learning never stops. And until next time, Yakazia.